You ever get the feeling you are being watched, even when you are surrounded by people? That was how it all started on a muggy Sunday afternoon at the city's biggest mall. The kind of place buzzing with families, fluorescent lights, and pavement wet from the morning's rain. We came for funnel cakes, my little brother tugging at my sleeve, but as we passed the food stalls outside, I noticed a man leaning against the counter. Red t-shirt, blue jeans, hands in his pockets, nothing truly odd except for how still he was. Normally I would not care, but for some reason he caught my attention, the way you notice a painting out of place in a familiar room. His eyes flickered up for a moment, then away, as if I was not worth remembering. Inside, the mall pulsed with shoppers. Half an hour later, at the bookstore, I ran into the man again. No bags, just wandering. Not shopping, not headed anywhere, his hands still buried deep in his pockets. Maybe it was nothing, or maybe it was the way he paused for a beat too long at the entrance, like he was waiting for a cue. I could not hear. I pressed my luck, catching another glimpse before losing him behind a column. My family wanted pretzels. The crowd moved in waves. Out of habit and unease, my eyes scanned each face, and there he was again, drifting between groups, perfectly ordinary, yet somehow invisible to everyone else. He was not the creepiest guy I would ever seen, not threatening or twitchy, just too calm, almost rehearsed. Suddenly, he was behind two teenage girls as we queued for the escalator. They laughed nervously, eyes darting everywhere but at him. I watched as he leaned closer, breaking some invisible line of personal space. His mouth moved, but I could not hear the words. One girl glanced at me. Her eyes said what her voice could not help. When we reached the top, I let my family go ahead, pretending to tie my shoe. The man tried to get the girls' names. They offered nervous laughter and fake ones. He smiled politely, but something about his tone made my skin crawl. For a moment, I wondered if I was just overthinking it. Maybe he was just looking for company, awkward but harmless. I convinced myself there was nothing wrong, but the thought would not let go, sticking in my mind like a tick. The rest of the afternoon crawled by, but everywhere we went, I caught glimpses of that same figure, always just out of reach at the toy shop, across the food court, like a puzzle piece stuck in the wrong picture. I started thinking about all the true crime documentaries I would watch late at night. The way people always describe their stalkers, polite, forgettable, almost invisible. Was I seeing things the way they did? By dinner time, I would almost convince myself it was nothing. Still, when we made our way back through the parking garage, every footstep echoed a little too loudly. The sound of someone is cough, sharp as a gunshot. That night, sleep was flat and unwelcoming. I could not shake the man's blank expression, or the look in the girl's eyes, like they were waiting for something bad to happen, or maybe something already had. Monday passed. Then Tuesday, I watched news updates for any mention of crimes at the mall. Nothing. No faces I recognized, no familiar red shirts from the security footage they showed. Weeks went by, but that sick feeling in my gut just would not leave. At the edge of my mind was the memory of him behind those girls, his polite smile stretching too wide. Some nights, I would convince myself I was paranoid. After all, would not something have happened by now if I was really in danger? Then the dreams started, and they were never the same. Twice. In the dreams, the mall was empty, but the man was everywhere at once, behind columns, in mirrors, at the edge of every frame. Always waiting, always smiling. I would wake up heart hammering, listening for footsteps that were not there. One afternoon, walking home near the edge of the city, I saw someone across the street. Red shirt, head down, pacing slowly. He paused, pretending to check his phone just as an old bus coughed past. I slowed down, heart thumping. He never once looked up, but somehow I knew he would see me. I changed direction, quickening my pace, eyes darting to every shadow. At home, the walls pressed in too close. Every passing car's headlights felt like a searchlight trained on my window. I checked the doors and windows twice, then a third time before I lay down and tried to sleep. In the following days, every time I left for school or errands, I imagined him trailing just a step behind. Always there, in the places I least expected, never close enough for anyone else to notice. It started feeling like I would fallen into someone else's story, some late-night crime show where nothing ever gets resolved. Who would actually believe me? With no evidence, no real proof, it would sound like paranoia. Still, I decided to talk. I reached out to a friend of my uncle who worked in law enforcement, told him everything. The man, the mall, the way he moved through the crowd like smoke. He listened carefully but said what I expected too much time had passed, too few facts. No witnesses, no surveillance footage, just my gut feeling. He told me to be careful, to avoid walking alone, to call if I ever saw the man again. I returned home feeling both relieved and disappointed. There would be no stakeouts, no sudden arrests, just a vague sense of unfinished business settling in my stomach. The weeks went silent. The city moved on. But it was not over. Shadows around every corner still pressed in close, especially after sunset. Every stranger's face wore the same blurred outline. Eventually, I changed my routes and routines. Got my driver's license. Anything to avoid walking the stretch of road between the mall and home. I missed the freedom of those walks, but not the feeling of unseen eyes. Still, sometimes I thought I caught glimpses of a red shirt or flashes of blue jeans melting into the crowd. My mind replayed every step, every glance, every half-smile. Was I even sure of what I would see anymore? I never saw him again, not for real, not in the way that counts. But for months, maybe forever, I would wonder who else noticed the man in the shadows. Wonder if anyone else trusted their instincts just in time. Sometimes, I catch myself warning friends in subtle ways. Take care at the mall. Keep your eyes open. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Not everyone who smiles wants to help. Still, late at night, when the house settles and the city falls quiet, it feels like I am not alone. The feeling returns. The certainty that some stories never truly end because the thing you are afraid of is waiting just outside.